Hello, future pioneers, class of 2025. My name is Jerry Foley, and I'm the principal of Somerville High School. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us tonight. This is our first ever live stream event for our Incoming Freshman program. Normally, this is an event that we host in our high school auditorium in person, but unfortunately, we weren't able to do that tonight. So I hope this platform serves to answer some of the questions that you may have. So let's start with tonight's agenda that you can see up on your screen. Mrs. DePace, who is our Supervisor of Guidance and Special Services, she will be presenting tonight for the bulk of the presentation. We will also be having a question. There's a form that she will explain. We will provide an opportunity for questions for our parents in a Google form platform, and she will explain all that to you in a little bit. So first, the agenda. So let's talk about the agenda. Mrs. DePace is going to go over the graduation requirements, both state and Board of Education, Somerville Board of Education graduation requirements. She's also going to talk about the academic programs and the pathways, the various pathways that we offer here at SHS. We're also going to talk a little bit about the types of course offerings that we have here for you to take as well. And opportunities beyond the classroom. High school is such an important place in your life because there are so many activities, so many athletic programs that we want you to get involved in. So Mr. Davis, our Supervisor of Athletics, our Athletic Director, will be here to explain that to you as well. Finally, what a lot of you are all waiting for is the scheduling timeline. When can I do my schedule? Mrs. DePace is going to talk about that as well. So let's do some introductions. I want to send out a big thank you to everyone that you see on your screen here. They have played an important role in your transition, and they will continue to play an important role in your transition to the next level. So everyone, thank you for your leadership in preparing all of our kids for this next level. We have Mr. Barbosa, Mrs. Stanton from Branchburg Central Middle School, Mr. Benjamin, Mrs. Peruso from Somerville Middle School, and our staff here at the high school. You can see Mr. Haid, who is our assistant principal here. He's also the principal of our MAPS program that we offer here in Somerville. Tim Davis, who is our athletic director, and you will hear from him later. And Mrs. DePace, the Supervisor of Guidance and Special Services, who will be your number one contact through this process. Mrs. DePace and the guidance counselors. And Dr. Zurawicki, who is our Supervisor of Student Affairs here at the high school. So, wow, look at that. So I'm going to ask you if you could please follow us. We're available on social media. We use social media a lot, Instagram, and we are on Twitter as well, and #VillePride. So with that being said, I am going to pass this along to Mrs. DePace, and she will provide you with all the information that you need at this point. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. My name is Mrs. DePace. I'm the Supervisor of Counseling and Special Services here at the high school, and there's a lot of information I'm going to present to you today. So if you have questions or if you feel a little bit overwhelmed, not to worry. This presentation, this live stream will be posted for you to watch again, as well as the PowerPoint that you're looking at right now. We will post that to our website tomorrow, and you'll see a few links that are visible throughout this PowerPoint. Those links will be live for you tomorrow within the PowerPoint. So if you feel like there's just too much information coming to you at once, don't worry. You'll be able to view it again. And as always, we're here to answer your questions. So if you do have some questions throughout this presentation, we have provided a link to a Google form on our website. Just below where our YouTube presentation is, you'll see the link for a Google form. There you can ask your questions, And we will do our very best to get to those answers at the end of this presentation. However, if we cannot get to all of the questions that we have, someone will answer your question tomorrow. We will reach out to you personally. We will also be providing an FAQ sheet. So if we have a lot of the same similar questions, we'll post those questions and the responses with the presentation as well. Okay, here we go. This presentation, like I said, will be on the guidance webpage tomorrow. All links will be live, so not to worry if you think you can't click through the link in this live stream. I'd like to introduce the team here in the guidance office first. We have a great team here that is willing to help your students. They're going to be a big part of their high school experience. So I'll introduce them via their pictures. We have Mrs. Grossmith. At the top level of the chair, Mrs. Kathleen DeLuca. Those are both counselors. The bottom row, Mr. Hudson, he does all of our academies. He is the counselor for all our academy students. Mr. Nick Malisi, Mrs. Christine Thompson, and Mrs. Mary Honrath. At the top, we also have Mrs. Garvey and Mrs. Ireland, who support all of us in this office with all the work they do. And then finally, we have two very important people that we all use here, students and staff. Mrs. Ashley Joshi is our school psychologist, Mr. Doug Graver, our student assistance counselor, and that rounds out the guidance staff here at Somerville High School. So let's just get down to it. We'll start off with our minimum requirements. So these are state of New Jersey requirements. In order to graduate high school in the state of New Jersey, you have to meet these minimum requirements. You will need 4 years of English. You will need 3 years of math. We'll go over a little bit of that later in detail. You will need 3 years of science and social studies. You will also need 4 years of PE and health. World language, the state requires 1 year of world language. We offer French and Spanish here at the high school. However, you see the asterisk. If you were looking at going to a 4-year college, we highly recommend a minimum of 2 years of a world language. Colleges will be looking for that. So that's just something to keep in mind. You also will need 1 year of visual and performing arts. That's your art classes, music classes, choir, 21st century life and careers. That is also a state requirement. That includes a lot of our business classes. It includes our engineering classes, a lot of computer classes that we offer here. And another requirement is a 1/2 year or 2.5 credits of financial literacy. Now, up to this point, we have been offering this course in our Apex platform, which is online. We are trying very hard to get this course back in the classroom for next year. So that would be a great opportunity for our incoming freshmen. It will be offered to freshmen. Actually, freshmen will need to take it in the classroom their freshman year, starting next year, if we're able to do it. More information will be coming out about that. We don't have all the details yet, but that is something that we're really trying hard to get back in the classroom because it is such a valuable course beyond being a state requirement. At the end of the day, you're going to need 120 credits to graduate high school. There's a number of ways you can do that. It may sound like a lot now, but if you're taking 35, credits a year, which is your average student will take 35 credits a year, you will easily meet that 120 credits by the end of 4 years. Most students graduate with a lot more than 120. Okay, so when you come in next year as a freshman, what will your schedule look like? Well, there's going to be 4 things for sure, at least on that schedule. English will be there, biology will be there, world studies will be on your schedule, as well as your PE and health course. Math might look a little bit different. You will definitely have a math course, but really depending on what you're taking in your 8th grade year will determine what you're going to take your freshman year. For example, if you're taking Algebra 1 in middle school right now, you will take geometry your freshman year. If you're taking geometry in 8th grade, you will be starting off with Algebra 2. If you haven't completed Algebra 1 in 8th grade, then that's going to be where you will start your freshman year. World language, like I said earlier, we do offer French and Spanish. There are different levels. Some students enter at level 1 French or Spanish, some enter at level 2. We are also going to be able to offer 1 section of ASL, American Sign Language, next year. However, it is 1 section and it is a limited number of seats in that section. So if you would like to take American Sign Language, by all means, you would be able to select that. But we are asking that you also select French or Spanish as a backup if you cannot get into that section. And again, more about that will be coming out through your counselors. So then you have 2 electives. So that's really the choice you have. So when you open your account at Real Time for the high school, you'll have the opportunity to select your electives. Your lunch will already be scheduled in there. And one of those, excuse me, one of those electives can be a study hall. Some students elect not to take a study hall. I think freshman year, it's probably a good idea to start that way. And maybe your sophomore year, if things are going well, then you can take an extra elective instead of a study hall, but totally up to you and what you feel comfortable with. Those periods, all those classes there will round out your 9-period day for next year. Now, among those courses, we do have different levels. We have our CP, which is college prep. We have our honors level, and we do have availability for freshmen to take AP courses at the high school. The honors courses are offered in all of English classes. Math classes, geometry, algebra 2, and pre-calc have an honors opportunity. Our science courses have honors classes. Social studies, which would your freshman year be world studies, and your world language classes also have honors opportunities. One of the dates I'll go over with a little bit later in this presentation is our honors application. They will come out and become active on February 5th, and then they will close February 19th. But again, I'll go over those dates towards the end of the presentation. You are placed in honors courses on a course-by-course basis. So if you get into an honors English, it doesn't mean you'll be in honors world studies, for example. So you may only want to take one honors course your freshman year and see how it goes. If it goes well, then sophomore year, you can take more. You can start off with all CP level in your freshman year and see how you feel, and maybe a course that you really feel strong in, you want to try the honors course. That's a great way to start as well. We do have advanced placement courses here at the high school, and just this year we started offering 2 of those courses to our freshmen, which is really exciting because I think for some kids it's a great opportunity to start to feel like what an AP course might be like. Those 2 courses are AP Computer Science Principles and AP Human Geography. If that is something that you're really interested in and you'd like to try it, those opportunities are open for you. Okay, and Mr. Foley talked about different pathways. So we do have several different pathways for you. The traditional pathway is either college prep or honors level courses. That would be you take your English, your math, your science, your social studies, your electives, and you traditionally go through that course load 3 or 4 years. The other opportunity is a Somerset County VOTEC shared time. So VOTEC offers different courses that you can take where you spend half your day at VOTEC and you spend half your day here at Somerville High School. They are having an open house on February 6th. The link will be live tomorrow on this slideshow. That is a Saturday. So it's all virtual. You'll be able to select what areas you'd like to visit. There's Zoom meetings, so you'll be able to talk to people. So if you're interested in something at VOTEC, that's a great opportunity for you coming up in the beginning of February. We also do have internship opportunities, which is kind of exciting. We have partnered with LaRue PR here in Somerville, and after taking a few prescribed courses here at the high school, you are eligible to do an internship with LaRue. In other words, you leave school and go and work for them for part of the day. So that's a great opportunity for some of our students as well. Some of you probably have already heard about our other academies, our SALIS, MASA, and STEM academies. So I am going to go through each of those, not in a lot of detail, simply because we do have presentations available on our website. Mr. Hudson has created a presentation for SALA and a presentation for SMASA, these 2 academies. So if you're interested, you would go through that presentation and it gives you all the details you'll need if that is something that you would like to do. Just briefly, the Somerville Academy for Liberal Arts, or SALA, is our academy that provides students the opportunity to graduate high school with not only a high school diploma, but an associate's degree from RVCC. So throughout their 4 years, they begin taking their freshman year courses all at the high school. By the time they've progressed to their senior year, they are full-time RVCC students. So it's a great pathway for some students, and we've had a lot of success with it. If that's something you're interested in, by all means, please go in and look at that presentation. Our Somerville Medical Sciences Academy is in partnership with Robert Wood Johnson here in Somerville. And through that program, you are able to get some real world experience at the hospital in different fields of medicine. You would begin your freshman and sophomore year with presentations from different departments at the hospital. And junior and senior year, you visit the hospital once a week to shadow people in different parts of the hospital to learn more about that field and get some real world experience. So another great opportunity for our students. The final academy is the SHS STEM Academy. Now, this includes 3 different branches, as you can see. The first branch is our engineering sequence. And the engineering sequence includes 4 courses. So you would need to get through all 4 courses of this sequence, you would have to start taking your engineering courses your freshman year. So if that is something you think you might be interested in going forward, it's a great place to start with an elective. You would take Intro to Engineering Design. If you don't start your freshman year, all that simply means is you'll get through 3 parts of the sequence rather than all 4. You do not need to apply to start taking the engineering sequence. The right side of the screen, computer science options, those are all courses that are offered in computer science. Again, do not need to apply for this. You can simply go in and start taking these courses. And there's some really interesting opportunities there as well. The center column with the green is our computer support track. So that is something that you do need to apply to. There's also a link there for you to get more information, more detailed information about this program. But briefly, what happens is you have courses here at Somerville High School you will take your freshman year. You will also have the opportunity going forward to take courses at RVCC and get certifications from RVCC in computer support. There also is an internship element at our Chrome Zone. So if you're somebody who likes to work with computers, to break things down, put them back together again, fix things, that's a great opportunity for you as well. There is again an application required, and you can access that application right through that link there. Okay, so now planning your pathway. Now I've just given you a lot of different opportunities, right? A lot of things to think about. So some of the questions we get is how am I going to know what classes to take? How will I know if honors classes are right for me? And how the heck am I supposed to know what I want to do after high school? I'm just getting there. And those are all great points and great questions. What we do here is we try to help you through those questions, especially here in the guidance department. So one of the first things we want you to consider when all these things are kind of rolling around in your head is, what are the things you get excited about? What are your hobbies? What are your passions? What are your interests? Because those are the things that you're really going to try the hardest at and the things you're going to be the most successful with. And be honest with yourself. Study habits, time management, accountability and self-advocacy. Do you advocate for yourself? Do you have great study habits? How are you with time management? And if some of those areas you're like, well, not so good right now, then that can kind of drive decisions about whether you want to take an honors class or an AP class right now. If those are things that you're really good at, then it's probably a great place for you to start. If you need a little more time, maybe you try one honors class or you wait till sophomore year to start those honors classes. But that's really kind of a thing you have to be honest with yourself about and know yourself well. But if you can start to do those things your freshman year, you're going to be successful in high school. Now, getting to what you want to do after high school, some things you can explore. Your dialogue with your counselor is going to be an integral part of your high school experience. So this is the person that you will meet with every year to discuss what your interests are. If you're struggling in a class, if you really just need help with something that really isn't even academic, these are the people you're going to go to. And I think, as you get to know them through the years, they're going to get to know you as well. And it's going to be a really powerful experience for you. Naviance is a platform we use here at the high school that provides you with, you're really building a portfolio. Every year, you will do some other kind of activity in Naviance. You'll start with some exploration of what your careers could be, what are your interests, what are some paths you might be able to take. And then it explores you start building a resume within Naviance. And then in junior year, you start exploring colleges, you start making college lists. Senior year that's where it's really powerful. That's where all your letters of recommendation will come through. It's something that you'll learn more and more about the longer you're here at the high school. And at the end, you have a nice portfolio ready for you as you either go off into your next career or you move on to college. Something else that's really important, and we tell kids, we need to develop routines for checking new programs we have here. Scholarships, and I know it might seem odd to tell you to check for scholarships as an incoming freshman, but some of those scholarships, if you look at them your senior year, you might say to yourself, oof, I wish I had started on this earlier. So it's always a good idea to explore scholarship, what's out there. There's lots and lots and lots of money wanting to go to college that a lot of times students don't even know about. So I would start, the earlier you start checking and looking for those things, the better. And don't forget about your teachers. They're not just there to teach your course. They actually have a lot of experience with college. They have a lot of experience with students. They keep in touch with a lot of the students they had who are now in college. So they're a great resource if you're looking to explore different fields within that. So if you're a social studies teacher, you might want to talk to them about different fields that you could get into with a history degree. And they'll have a lot of information. So don't forget about your teachers when you're thinking about future plans as well. The number one recommendation we have here is to get involved. And for this, I'm going to turn you over to Mr. Davis, who's going to talk a little bit about our activities and our athletics here at the high school. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Jen. Good evening, everyone. Talking about the academic aspects, and Mrs. DePace talked about all those. I also think that, and she alluded to it, the fact that we need a well-rounded student, especially when they're coming in freshman year. They're new to everything. They're new to the schedule. They're new to the actual school district, right? If we think about coming from Branchburg or staying from Somerville and making their way up to the high school, they need to get involved. And if we think about just kind of our offerings and our clubs, you look at this list that's in front of you. There's over 30 activities and clubs that we offer, and there's something for everyone, right? And there's something that'll pique their interest that they should try, and maybe they stick with it for 1 year, maybe they do something else the next year, And we want them to kind of learn, what is best for them, what fits them, and they might change over the 1, 2, 3, 4 years that they're in high school, and we encourage that. And so that's a list of the different programs that we offer on the main site. We also have those. Our athletic selection is plentiful. All right, and if we think about our athletics here at Somerville, we've been state champs many times. We have high level coaches in our organization here, and if we look at this diagram here, we have 3 different seasons, right? And so each kid can pick and choose based on the season that they want to participate. And we really want them to participate in multiple seasons, right? The studies have shown that, the better athletes and how you grow throughout your time in a high school is usually bearing on how many different sports that you participate in. We don't want them to narrow their search and narrow their sports early on as a freshman, right? They might try something they've never done before. Next thing you know, by the time they're a junior or senior, they might have an athletic scholarship somewhere, or they might be able to play that sport at the next level that'll offer them and get them the ability to go to a school that otherwise might be more difficult to get into. All these different sports, right? If we think about fall, for example, most of the fall sports start in the preseason, which is in the middle of August. This year, I believe it's going to be August 16th for everything but football. Football will start a week prior to that. Usually the fall ends in the middle of November, depending on how far we make it in states. The winter will start in the middle of November, right around Thanksgiving, and ends at the end of February, sometimes in the beginning of March. Then when you look at the spring will start in March and ends in the middle of June. During the month of March, I will be sending out a letter to both Branchburg and Somerville Middle School that will outline everything that we have the students do as far as family ID, registering, all those different things, coach contacts. And if you look at our athletic site, it has all those different things that you can kind of look at early on. This year, if we think about, how we're working things, it's a little different, and we're hoping that we get back to kind of a normalcy this coming fall. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me at tdavissomervilleschools.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Okay, so let's get to our timeline. Today is January 20th. We are here for our incoming freshman information meeting. The next deadline we have up here, well, it's not a deadline actually, it's just a date to keep in mind. February 5th is our honors application and self-assessment questionnaire will be available via the Guidance Department webpage. Those honors applications are due by February 19th. February 26th, on or about February 26th, real-time access codes. Real-time is where you will access your schedules for the high school. Those access codes are mailed to all 8th graders. Students can view the honors placement results upon logging into the real-time portal. So if you applied to be in honors English, when you log in the first time into your real-time portal, you'll see the schedules that are already preloaded for you, because you do have to have an English, you do have to have a science, your biology, you need a lunch, you'll need a PE. Those will be preloaded into your schedule. So you'll see in there, if it says honors English, that you are in the honors English section. Now, I will say this, if you don't initially get into honors English, you can appeal that decision. So we don't want to put up barriers for anyone, but keep that in mind. If you don't get it, if it's not on your schedule, there is an appeal process that will be explained to you at that time. March 19th, the due date to enter your world language selection and your electives via real-time. So you'll be able to go into real-time and select what electives you would like to take and what language you would like to take. May 7th, deadline to appeal previously denied honors courses, as I talked about earlier. You can include your third marking period grades in that appeal, so that's part of the process as well. May 28th, that is the deadline to make any course change requests. So by the end of May, we need to know what your electives are going to be, what your language is going to be. And in August, your schedules will be released via real-time. We don't have a date in August for when the schedules are released, simply because it's a process, and if we give you a date, it's just, we might have to change it. So usually the first couple of weeks of August are when the schedules will be released. Some other things coming up. For freshman transitions, August is also the time that we have our freshman orientation. Again, we don't have a date. We are still looking for guidance. We'll be looking for guidance all summer as to how we can have our freshman orientation. Hopefully we can go back to where we were before, where everybody comes in, you can explore the building, we can have a meeting, we can talk about all the things that you can expect in the next couple of weeks. Even throughout the pandemic this past August, we were able to hold our freshman orientation. It didn't look like it usually does, but we were able to get all the students in for their orientation. We're very, very proud of that fact. So it will happen in August. What it will look like and the exact date, that information will be forthcoming. Also, something for all of our freshmen comes up in October. PSAT Day is always every October here at the high school, in which sophomores and juniors take PSATs. Seniors don't have to come in for that, so they stay home for the first part of the day. But our freshmen are here, and we have an activities fair for our freshmen on that day. Typical things that we do is provide a breakfast. You will meet with your counselors in groups. We have an activities fair where you can explore some of the different activities here at the high school, join clubs. And typically we start the day with a presentation in the auditorium. So that's something that, it's a fun day for freshmen coming up in October. What can you do now? Our program of studies is on our website right now. It is currently our 2021 program of studies. Our new program of studies will be coming out shortly. That will have any changes that are made to the course offerings. But I think the program of studies that is posted right now will answer a lot of the questions you have as to what's available to you. And you can also visit the guidance webpage for incoming freshmen. If you go to the main page of our guidance webpage and look on the left side, you'll see a number of things that you can click on. One of those is incoming freshmen, and there's a lot of information posted there for you that you can refer to. This will be posted there tomorrow morning with live links. And we will also have the live stream that you can go to as well and rewatch if need be. So now I know there were a couple of questions that came through. So Dr. Zerwicki, if there's any questions that I think are applicable to the larger crowd, we can answer those now.
Sure. So I think one of the first questions, there's a few about the academies. Okay. And that, can you only apply to one pathway? Can you apply to more than one? And then, so we'll answer that question first.
Yes, you can. We've had many students who apply to our SALA and SMASA academies. Typically, those are the two that kind of overlap. But if you apply to all three academies, you might have a decision to make at the end of the day. But yeah, you can apply to all of those. If VOTEC's a little different because that's going to impact your schedule. So that's a little bit of a different program. So But yeah, absolutely, you can apply for more than one.
But sounds like you can only do one, right?
Yes, once you select, you can't be in SALA and SMASA because the schedules will just never work together.
And then another academy question is that if you are selected to be, let's say, in SMASA or SALA, are you automatically enrolled in honors level courses, or do you have to apply for that?
The expectation is that if you were admitted to SALA, that application has been reviewed, and that the expectation is you will be in honors courses. Yeah.
Another question was about, and it's hard for us to predict right now, is if we think students will be able to tour the school over the summer during freshman orientation.
We were able to have freshmen tour the school in small groups last summer. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, worst case scenario, we do what we did last summer. So yes, they'll be able to walk around the building like they did. Yeah.
Yeah, if I may interject here, we're going to make every opportunity. We're going to make every effort to have you all come in and walk the buildings and run through your schedule. I think it's beneficial. I think you need to do that. It's a good thing, and it really helps in your transition into high school. This past year, we had to separate our freshman orientation in August into 4 different sessions. So things are evolving as the information comes out and the capacity limitations for indoor events increases. We can make adjustments at that time. Normally, we will do a freshman orientation the 3rd Monday in August, which this year is August 16th. I believe, but I don't want to be held to that date based on the circumstances right now. So our plan as of this date, folks, is to definitely have a freshman orientation in August. What it's going to look like, I am unsure at this particular time, but part of that will be walking through the halls of Somerville High School. Thanks.
Okay. So then, thank you. There are about 2 other questions. That one of which is, how does this change if someone's child were to go to VOTEC, either full or part-time?
Okay. Well, full-time, they're full-time students at VOTEC. So we'll tackle the part-time. If you're an A shop, which is the AM VOTEC program, or C shop, which is their PM VOTEC program, it will impact your schedule here at Somerville High School. For example, if you're an A shop, you will leave VOTEC around 9:50. You get back to the high school a little bit after 10 o'clock, which is the beginning of our 4th period. So some students take a study hall 4th period. Some students will take a course 4th period, and they are a few minutes late to that course, getting off the VOTEC bus. But that leaves the rest of the day here at Somerville High School. Complete opposite for our C shop students. They're here in the morning, and then during their lunchtime, they leave about 15 minutes early to catch the bus to VOTEC for their afternoon classes. It is difficult to get all the courses in because of this. So a lot of our students at VOTEC will take 1 or 2 of their required courses online. For example, they might take an art course online. They might take a world language course online to make up for the time that they're not here in the building, because you are really here for, including your lunch, you're here for 5 periods. So that's, it's hard to get all your electives in that time frame. So it is a bit, it can be a bit tight, but we've got plenty of kids who have done it and have done it well. So.
Okay. And then we have some questions that are more related to honors.
Mhm.
So how are students, incoming freshmen, how are they chosen, I guess, to be in an honors level course when they come here?
Okay, so we have the application. There is a self-assessment piece in which the student kind of assesses how, what kind of student they are as far as their study habits, their time management skills. There's also the grade portion, in which right now it's a 90. You'll need to have a 90 average in that course. So you'll need to have in the first 2 marking periods of 8th grade, because that's when the applications come out, you'll have to have a 90 average in English to get into honors English. That being said, we will consider your 3rd marking period grades, If you're still not there at the 90, there is the opportunity to appeal, because we've had students who are, just a shave under that. And there's a number of reasons that can happen. So again, we don't completely close the door. Those, if you need parameters, those are our parameters. But there's always room for a conversation as well.
So it seems as if there's a lot of academy type of questions.
Okay.
So one of the other ones has to do with, I guess, when you hear back, if you get into one of those academies, and if you hear back, I guess, at a time where if you still need to apply to the honors level course, that you could do so, so that they don't miss that deadline.
Okay, so yeah, and the thing is, if you're applying to the academies, I mean, you don't need to worry about missing a deadline for honors. If you get into SALA, usually they tell you around, I think the letters go out beginning of May, for that academy specifically. But if you aren't in the SALA, or you decide you don't want to do SALA, you change your mind, that's not an issue. Well, that's a conversation with the counselor, and that change can be made.
Okay. And then another question is how, if any of the academies impact a student's ability to participate in sports like athletics or different activities?
That's a great question. We've had any number of students participate in multiple activities. We've had students who've played varsity sports. We've had students in marching band, which is, a big, that takes up a lot of time. They found a way to do it. So it does get a little tricky in your junior and senior year, but there's time in the schedule. And we've never had to turn a kid down in SALA or SMAT or any of our academies for any kind of after school activity. So there's room.
Okay. So I think that answers most of the ones that are can be generally applied to everyone.
Okay.
There are some specific VOTEC questions, but I know you talked about their open house, so it sounds like maybe going to that could be really beneficial for some of them.
I think going to the open house on February 6th would be extremely beneficial. But if there's more specific questions, just submit those questions, and we can get back to you tomorrow and answer those questions for you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Thanks, Dr. Zawicki.
Mhm.
I would like to thank all of you for coming tonight. Again, it's not the way we typically would do this, but it was nice to be able to offer this presentation to you. Again, if you have any other questions, please just fill out that form, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.